Hello Golden State Warriors fans, we are here once again to bring you the latest news related to our team, and I would like to emphasize how committed we are to improving our performance to achieve great results. Before we dive into this intriguing news, I kindly request you to show your support by clicking the like button, and if you are not yet subscribed to our channel, I invite you all to join us on an exciting journey. Remember to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything.
Jimmy Butler changed everything for Steve Kerr and the Warriors. Steve Kerr didn't have much hope for this season. At least not until Jimmy Butler walked through the door. Before the Golden State Warriors acquired Jimmy Butler III in February, Kerr described his team as being dead in the water. The energy was flat. The results weren't there. And the future? Uncertain. I was all in, honestly, because we didn't have much to lose, Kerr shared on the latest episode of The Tom Tolbert Show. We were stuck. We were below .500, and it had been long enough to admit, it just wasn't working. The team needed a spark. Jimmy Buckets brought the fire. GM Mike Dunleavy made the call that changed everything. He told me, "I think we're going to get Jimmy Butler. I know the guy. I played with him in Chicago. He's a gamer. A true competitor. I think he's exactly what we need." And I said, let's do it. More than anything, we just needed change. Kerr admitted he didn't fully grasp Butler's game before he arrived in the Bay Area. We only faced Miami a few times a year, so I hadn't seen him up close that often. I respected him, of course, but it wasn't the kind of flashy game that grabs you at first glance, Kerr said. But once you see him day in and day out, you understand why he's so damn good. And Butler delivered. He brought intensity, leadership, and grit, lifting the Warriors into the second round of the playoffs before they fell to the Timberwolves. At 35, Butler is still putting up impressive numbers: 17.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 5.9 assists per game. More importantly, he's now under contract with the Warriors through the 2026-27 season. What started as a desperate move turned into a defining moment. Jimmy Butler didn't just join the team, he revived it. And if his impact this year was any indication, the best may still be yet to come. Butler's arrival didn't just shake up the Warriors' locker room, it sent ripples through the entire league. Analysts were quick to react. Many saw the trade as a last-ditch effort, a bold gamble by a team clinging to its dynasty years. But as the wins started to stack up and Butler's leadership became undeniable, the tone shifted. Suddenly, Golden State wasn't just relevant again, they were dangerous. "He brought an edge we were missing," said Warriors veteran Draymond Green in a post-game interview. "Jimmy doesn't care about the noise, doesn't care about the spotlight. He just wants to win. And that mindset? It's contagious." Fans noticed too. The energy at Chase Center changed almost overnight. With Butler on the floor, the team played with a renewed sense of purpose, tighter defense, smarter ball movement, and a no-nonsense attitude that reminded many of the Warriors' early championship runs. And despite falling to the Timberwolves in the second round, few saw the season as a disappointment. On the contrary, it felt like the beginning of something new. "Jimmy gave us belief again," Kerr reflected. "The playoffs didn't end the way we wanted, but we're building something real. And having a guy like him as part of our core moving forward? That's huge." Off the court, Butler's presence has been equally significant. Known for his work ethic and intensity, he's already become a mentor figure to some of the younger players, including Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski. His influence in the locker room has helped re-establish a culture of accountability and resilience, one that had started to fade in recent years. With 2 more guaranteed seasons under contract, Butler now becomes a central piece in the Warriors' plan to extend their championship window. Rumors are swirling that the front office will look to further strengthen the roster this offseason, possibly targeting another veteran piece to complement Butler's two-way game and Steph Curry's offensive brilliance. Meanwhile, Butler himself seems energized by the fresh start. "I just want to hoop. I want to win. That's it," he said after their Game 6 loss to Minnesota. "I like this group. We fight. We're not done." And neither is the Jimmy Butler era in Golden State. What started as a risky mid-season trade has evolved into a cultural reset, one that could shape the next great chapter in Warriors history. Before Kevin Durant joined the Warriors, a Lakers legend thought they already had a smaller KD. Long before Kevin Durant shocked the basketball world by joining the Golden State Warriors in 2016, one NBA legend believed the Dubs already had their own version of the 2014 MVP. That legend? Jerry West. And the player he was talking about? Stephen Curry. The summer of 2016 is etched into NBA history for two unforgettable reasons. First, the Cleveland Cavaliers' miraculous comeback from a 3-1 deficit to defeat the 73-9 Warriors in the NBA Finals. And second, Kevin Durant's stunning decision to leave the Oklahoma City Thunder and sign with the very team that had just broken his heart. Durant instantly became one of the most polarizing figures in the league. Fans were split, some saw a smart career move, others saw betrayal. But what few realized at the time was that Jerry West, a Lakers icon and then advisor to the Warriors, had already seen shades of KD in someone else, Steph Curry. He's unique in so many ways, and he reminds me a little of a smaller Kevin Durant, West said in an interview with Slam magazine back in 2014. He's just a joy to watch. That comparison didn't come lightly. West added, there are only 3 or 4 players in the league I'd actually pay to watch, and he's one of them. People don't always realize how competitive he is. He was raised right, by great parents. Very grounded. He's a pleasure to be around. At the time, it was a bold statement. But little did West or anyone know that just 2 years later, Curry and Durant would be teammates, and together, they'd redefine dominance in the NBA. The dynasty that almost didn't happen. Before KD arrived, the Warriors were already making history. They won the NBA title in 2015 and followed it up with a record-breaking 73-9 regular season. But the heartbreak of losing in the 2016 finals left a crack in the foundation, and Durant was the final piece to seal it shut. With KD on board, Golden State became a juggernaut. For 3 straight years, they steamrolled the league, reaching the finals each season. They won back-to-back championships in 2017 and 2018, with Durant earning Finals MVP honors both times. It was basketball perfection, fluid, unselfish, and often unstoppable. And while the dream of a three-peat fell short in 2019 due to a devastating string of injuries, many believe that without those setbacks, the Warriors would have walked away with a 3rd straight title and cemented their dynasty even further. From a bold comparison to basketball reality. Jerry West's comment about Curry being a smaller Kevin Durant may have seemed like a stretch in 2014. But looking back now, it feels almost prophetic. Curry's shooting changed the game. Durant's versatility elevated the Warriors to a level of basketball few teams have ever reached. Together, they weren't just teammates, they were a historic duo. In a league full of icons, legends, and rising stars, their time together remains a golden chapter in the NBA's story. And it all started with a vision from one of the game's wisest minds. A vision fulfilled, and a legacy cemented. Jerry West's early comparison didn't just foreshadow greatness, it foreshadowed a revolution. When Kevin Durant joined Stephen Curry and the Warriors, it wasn't just the formation of a super team, it was the merging of 2 basketball prodigies whose styles both clashed and complemented in perfect harmony. Durant brought unmatched length, scoring versatility, and calm under pressure. Curry brought the chaos. His off-ball movement, limitless range, and gravitational pull disrupted defensive schemes like no one before. Together, they forced the NBA to adapt, or be left behind. The ripple effects were immediate. Defensive systems had to be reimagined. Front offices scrambled to build rosters capable of surviving the Warriors' onslaught. Other stars, LeBron James included, began forming alliances in hopes of matching Golden State's firepower. The very concept of team building shifted. And for the Warriors, the gamble paid off. With Durant, they weren't just contenders, they were inevitable. Inside the locker room, more than just talent. What made the Curry-Durant era so fascinating wasn't just the talent on display, it was the dynamic between them. Durant, despite his superstar status, stepped into a system already built around Steph. Curry, in turn, showed humility rarely seen at that level, willingly sharing the spotlight. That selflessness helped the partnership flourish. Steve Kerr often spoke about how Curry's lack of ego set the tone. Steph could have made KD feel like an outsider, Kerr said in a 2020 interview. But he embraced him. That's leadership. That's why we were great. Jerry West's initial insight, seeing something of Durant and Curry, now looked less like a compliment and more like an alignment of basketball destiny. Both were generational scorers. Both were obsessed with their craft. And both knew what it took to win. The fallout and the what-ifs. Of course, not everything was perfect. The media pressure was relentless. Durant, often criticized for joining a 73-win team, bristled at the constant scrutiny. Despite 2 championships and 2 finals MVPs, he never fully escaped the narrative that he'd taken an easier path to a title. By 2019, tensions had simmered beneath the surface. Following an on-court argument with Draymond Green and feeling the pull of a new challenge, Durant made the decision to leave the Warriors and join the Brooklyn Nets. His departure marked the end of an era, but not the end of the Warriors' legacy. Looking back and forward. Today, with Curry still leading the charge and Durant now a veteran voice on a new team, the memories of that brief, brilliant run remain vivid. Fans still debate whether that version of the Warriors was the greatest team ever assembled. Many say yes. And those inside the league? Most don't even question it. As for Jerry West's smaller Kevin Durant remark, it now reads like basketball prophecy. Not only did Curry rise to join Durant in the pantheon of all-time greats, he helped shape the very evolution of the game. And maybe that's the real story here. 2 once-in-a-generation players. 1 visionary comparison. And a team that changed basketball forever. Stephen Curry reflects on Warriors' future after playoff exit. We still believe. After tough playoff elimination at the hands of the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Golden State Warriors are already shifting their focus to what's next. The team made a bold statement by acquiring Jimmy Butler before the trade deadline, instantly raising expectations for a deep postseason run. But injuries came at the worst possible time. Butler went down with a pelvic injury in the first round, and Stephen Curry suffered a thigh strain in the second. With their 2 biggest stars sidelined or clearly not at full strength, the Warriors' chances quickly faded. Still, there's no panic in Golden State. With Curry, Butler, and Draymond Green all under contract, the Warriors' core remains intact. And according to Curry, that's something the team is ready to build around. Jimmy signed on for 2 more years because he believes in this group, Curry said, reflecting on the roster and the road ahead. And we believe we can still make this work. The Warriors' know time is ticking, age and wear are becoming harder to ignore, but they're not out of moves. While they may not have the trade assets to compete with teams like the Spurs, Rockets, or Heat in star-chasing deals, Golden State isn't ruling anything out. A blockbuster trade is one path. But so is doubling down on cohesion, shoring up the bench, adding a reliable big man, and staying healthy when it counts. Even amid swirling rumors about stars like Giannis Antetokounmpo or a reunion with Kevin Durant, which Durant has reportedly dismissed, the Warriors are more likely to tweak than overhaul. Names like Buddy Hield, Moses Moody, or Jonathan Kuminga could be part of those adjustments. But insiders expect the front office to make smart, targeted upgrades rather than gut the roster. Let's not forget, the Warriors beat Memphis in the play-in and handled Houston in Game 1 of the first round, the only 2 postseason games where both Curry and Butler were fully available. That's no coincidence. This team, when healthy, still has championship DNA. As Curry put it, we're not done yet. What comes next? A crucial off-season ahead. With the core of Curry, Butler, and Draymond still intact, this off-season becomes one of the most pivotal in recent Warriors history. General Manager Mike Dunleavy Jr. and head coach Steve Kerr have a delicate balance to strike, remain loyal to the championship-caliber trio, while building a roster that can realistically compete in an increasingly younger, more athletic Western Conference. League insiders have already linked the Warriors to several potential targets. Giannis Antetokounmpo headlines those conversations, though acquiring him would require a near-miraculous alignment of trade assets and timing. A move that massive would likely mean parting ways with rising talents like Jonathan Kuminga or Brandon Podziemski, players the organization has publicly praised for their development. Other names surfacing include Miles Turner, a mobile big man who could finally fill the rim-protecting void Golden State has struggled with since parting ways with Andrew Bogut years ago. Veteran shooters and versatile defenders like Buddy Hield or Dorian Finney-Smith could also help bolster the second unit and lighten the load on Curry and Butler during the regular season. Inside the locker room, belief versus reality. While fans are divided between rebuilding and running it back, within the locker room, there's still a strong belief that the team, when healthy, can contend. Draymond Green, known for his blunt honesty, expressed both frustration and hope in his end-of-season comments. "We didn't get to show what we really are," Green said. "I know people think this window's closing, but I promise, it's not shut yet." But even the most loyal Warriors fans recognize the risks. Curry will turn 37 next season. Butler has had multiple injury setbacks. Green's production has been inconsistent. And the Western Conference is no longer the same landscape it was during the team's dynasty years. Up-and-coming teams like Oklahoma City, Minnesota, and Sacramento are hungry and deep, while established franchises like Denver and the Clippers continue to evolve. The front office's dilemma: stay the course or shake it up. Reports suggest the front office is exploring all scenarios, including retaining most of the roster while using the mid-level exception to add depth. There's also speculation about trade packages centered around Moses Moody and draft picks to bring in a veteran contributor who can impact right away. A potential sign-and-trade involving Klay Thompson has also been quietly floated by league sources. Though nothing concrete has emerged, Thompson's uncertain contract situation could force the Warriors to make a tough call on one of their most beloved players. Around the league, reactions and expectations. The Warriors' early exit and ongoing uncertainty have sent ripples across the league. Analysts on ESPN and TNT have questioned whether Golden State's dynasty is officially over, while others argue that writing them off would be a mistake. "Any team with Steph Curry still has a shot," said former player and NBA analyst JJ Redick. "But they've got to get aggressive this summer." Even rival executives admit that, if Golden State can stay healthy and make the right moves, they're still a dangerous team no one wants to face in a 7-game series. Final word: betting on belief. Stephen Curry has never been one to shy away from a challenge. As the face of the franchise, his commitment, both emotionally and contractual, sends a clear message: the Warriors aren't ready to fade into the background. "We've done it before," Curry said with quiet confidence. "And we can do it again. We just need the right pieces, the right health, and the belief that it's still possible. And I have that belief." This offseason will test that belief, and determine whether the Warriors have one more run left in them.